the most painful thing is that I've been studying almost my entire life, like from the beginning in my primary school, UPSR, PMR, SPM, and then all the way. I've been studying for that target, and I actually get the course that I wanted. It was a personal mistake and also something that I couldn't control, and I dropped out.
What's up, everyone? In this episode of the TMF Talkshow, we have a conversation with Jaiden from RockBottomFinancial Journey. Jaiden dropped out of university, decided to move to Singapore, and is now on his journey to financial freedom. In this episode, we talk about finding a job when you don't have a university degree, working in Singapore as a foreigner, how he managed to save over 1,000 Sing dollars a month with a job that requires no degree, the job market during this flu-19 period and how businesses and people are adjusting, and many more like our favorite books on personal finance, how he organizes his money, and a little bit about his investment strategies. So if you've ever been curious about working in Singapore as a foreigner, getting a job without a university degree, or how this flu-19 affects jobs, businesses, and us, then this video is for you. Due to privacy reasons, we've decided not to release the version of the video where you can see his face, but you're still going to be learning so much from this video, and by the end of it, you'll have a clearer picture of what it's like to work overseas even if you don't have a university degree. And before we start the conversation, make sure to smash that like button because why not? And subscribe to the channel if you want to learn all about saving, making, and investing money. Let's jump into the show. Well, welcome to the show. First thing, really good to have you on. One thing I'm really curious about is the story behind your name, Rock Bottom Financial Journey. Could you tell us a bit more about that story?
Hey, hi. Thanks for having me. So, rock bottom, just like the lowest point possible. So the reason why when I started out that page, it was when I hit the rock bottom of my life. So, which is 2 years back when I was, this is a bit difficult for me to share, but I think it's something that the story behind me. So it was that I dropped out from school, from my university. So at that moment,
so it's like at university, not in high school?
No, university.
Okay.
I was 23 back then.
Okay.
Yeah. So that moment really turned my life upside down. And I thought I thought I was doomed for life. But then I was lucky to have friends and family that supported me. And also I have read some books, self-help books. Perhaps it was fated that I like to read those books, and those knowledge came in handy at those moments. So it was like, I feel like it was from that moment I literally changed the entire direction in my life. So that's why I started the page. It's like a personal documentation for me to record my journey. So since that I have always been doing financial stuff, I make it to financial journey. But financial, it's just one of the way, like a journey up my financial freedom.
Oh, I see. Well, could you share a bit about, if this is okay to you, just share a bit about what made you drop out from university? Was it because you wanted to work, or what happened?
Well, I dropped out from university isn't like Toast successful story where they really already have a stronger direction in life and they drop out. In fact, if I can turn back the time, I would wish to finish what I have started back then. But it was something quite personal for me to share. But what I can say is that it's something, circumstances that really out of my control. Yeah.
Okay. And so you dropped out of uni and you started working straight away?
Yeah, when I dropped out from uni, I realized that there are a lot of limitations suddenly come to me because I dropped out from university. So I only have a high school certificate, which is SPM in Malaysia. So at that moment, the job options for me are really limited.
And how far along were you in uni when you dropped out?
I was just 1 year before I graduate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were like 2 years.
It's painful, and I feel like, because the problem is the most painful thing is that I've been studying almost my entire life, like from the beginning in my primary school, UPSR, PMR, SPM, and then all the way. I've been studying for that target and I actually get the course that I wanted. Right. Yeah, but it was a personal mistake and also something that I couldn't control and I dropped out. So when I dropped out from the school and I realized, oh, that option is so little for me. Like at 2 years back then, I realized that, oh, if this certificate, there's only like the jobs options are not there for me to choose what I wanted to have the income level. So, and then I realized that, oh, because some of my families are already in Singapore. So that was that moment that they tell me, hey, you can actually come here. And I just, after a few considerations, and I feel like, yeah, I can leverage on that currency arbitrage and get what I wanted to achieve, the income level that I want to achieve. And so I come over here. Yeah.
So you live with your family now in Singapore?
Oh, no, I live alone.
Okay. And we'll talk about that Singapore journey later on because I think it's really interesting.
Sure.
But what course were you doing in uni?
I don't wish to share that. It's a bit
okay,
difficult.
Sure. No problem. Yeah, sure. But yeah, man, wow, like I'm still in uni right now. I'm about to graduate in July.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, I've been studying my whole life too, from like.
Yeah.
And I was, I think it's very common here for your parents to tell you that PMR is going to be the most important thing. Then SPM is going to be the most important thing. And then A-levels is going to be the most important thing. And then after that, it's university. So I'm just waiting for it to be over so I can actually start doing what I like. So let's talk about your journey to Singapore. So you dropped out of uni and you decided to take a leap and move to Singapore. You said you had your family there, so your family helped you settle in, or how did it go like?
Yeah, in the beginning, I was lucky to have my family to help me settle down, because if you don't, like, the cost to start working here would be quite difficult because you can't find job straight away when you are rich here. And I actually get a job after 3 weeks of trying. Like I said in the beginning, without the certificate, it's quite difficult and the job options is really limited. I have the skills, but because I don't have any certificate to as a proof to my skills and my knowledge, I couldn't get any relevant job to my course back then. So in the end, I found a job is in retail. So service sector is one of the most popular choice for foreigners, not just Malaysian, but Philippines, people that came to Singapore. Most of them will enter the retail sector, and the wage and the reward is quite lucrative lah. So in the end, I decided to get on board with a retail company, and yeah. So
did you need a university degree to were they looking for university graduates or just high school graduates?
The minimum criteria for there are a lot of different jobs, but the minimum that I can find is like you must have a SPM certificate. It's something about the levies. Yeah.
You were
so they have it wasn't easy back then, like levies for your employers to pay. Yeah, pay to the Ministry of Manpower. So if you have a higher certificate, it is said that I understood the way that your levies will be cheaper, and which make you more employable.
So you're it's like you're working for less wages.
Yep. If you are Malaysian and if you are foreigners in Singapore, you'll be working a different level of wages compared to Singaporean in most of the jobs. So let's say, I mean, I'm not working for the company, but that's one of the company that I interviewed with is Uniqlo. So if you are a Singaporean or PR, you will start at 1,900 per month. So if you are a Malaysian at the same education level, you will start at 1,600.
Working the same job.
Yeah, working the same job, the same positions. So there are differences, and I have seen people who are in the higher skill and professional level of jobs, right? Their difference could be even higher. But Singaporean will say that they have a less money received because, like, let's say 1,900 and 1,700 of Malaysian, right? The 1,700 of Malaysian will go 100% to the Malaysian, but 1,900 of a Singaporean, you have their CPF deducted. it is actually a good advantage for them, but most of them don't see the advantage. Yeah, it's like an EPF in Malaysia lah. Some people don't like their money to get deducted for EPF. They want to spend all they have.
So do you get CPF? You don't get CPF at all in Singapore?
No, we don't get
It's
CPF
all...
until that you are a PR. You won't get CPF.
Okay, so it's all like up to you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why up to us. So which is why when I came here, I realized, personal finance has become more important for me because it's entirely up to me to plan for my retirement or whatever goals that I want to achieve.
I see. So how was it like to move to Singapore? Like, where were you living in Malaysia?
I was in I am from Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So it isn't that hard for me to adapt to the life here. And in fact, the life here is something that I like because it's really efficient. Like you won't see a bus that is late. You won't see a MRT that is late.
Yeah.
So it's so much different from Malaysia. And in the beginning, I was amazed like the efficiency. Like when I go for my registration for my work permit, there is actually a queue number. So you actually message the people and get the queue number before you go there. And once I'm there, the entire process took like less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, like just imagine, like, I mean, now Malaysia has definitely get better, but just imagine that process when you apply for passport or IC in Malaysia. You'll be there taking a piece of paper, waiting for them to call your number. Yeah. So they really make all the process so fast and so efficient. Yeah.
Was it difficult to get a visa just to work in retail? Because I know that some countries like Australia, Singapore, Canada, they're looking for people with specific skills, and it's easier to get a visa. Was it more difficult to get a visa if you were just working at retail jobs?
I think there is different levels of, I mean, if visa is like work permit, that what you say, right? Then there is actually a work permit, and then there is employment pass, and there is S pass. So maybe it's a different level of visas. So for Malaysian, I don't think we need any visas to enter Singapore, but we do need at least a work permit. So I think work permit is particularly easy to get, but there is a quota for the company. Let's say if they hire one Singaporean, they can hire 2 Malaysians. So if they hire off work permit, so and also there's different qualification like you say. If you have a certificate, you qualify for S pass, which has a higher minimum wage, but a less quota. Let's say just 1 Singaporean for 1 Malaysian. Yeah. So in fact, right now, I have seen in my industry, a lot of S pass people has been really just terminated their contract because of the quota. Like if I hire 1 Singaporean, I can hire 2 Malaysians with work permit. So why should I hire someone with 1 S pass? I can get less manpower only, but I have to pay higher minimum wage. Yeah. So it's a complicated system over there. Yeah, but more or less it's like that lah.
Did you have to secure the job first and then you apply for the visa, or the work permit, or do you get the work permit first and then you secure the job?
Oh wait, you get the job first. Once you pass the job interview, right? You just give all your documentations to your HR and they'll settle it for you. They'll contact all LM, and the only thing you need to do is really go down just one time. That 5 minutes for me to get my work permit, and I just recently renewed my work permit. It's also all done through emails.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I just submitted the updated information to my HR, and they settled it all for me. And I just received an email that, oh, congratulations, you have been renewed your contract for another 2 years.
So when you first went to Singapore, you had 60, 90 days to secure your first job?
Yeah. You have we call it white card. So it's 60 days before you get a job. So there are also a lot of people who do it more advanced, because since that now looking for a job is also done online. So if I am to recommend to someone is coming to Singapore again to work, I would recommend them to really just look for the jobs online and perhaps ask for an online interview first. Yeah, I mean, in time like this, I think it might be hard for look for any jobs, but I think now all the jobs interview is conducted in that way.
Yeah, but what was your journey like? So you arrived in Singapore and you were looking in the 60 days, or did you go online first?
Yeah, when I first came to Singapore, I looked for everything. I looked for, because I Okay, so I was, I mean, I couldn't let you guys know that my exact course is what, but it's a healthcare related course. So,
Okay.
healthcare related course is all certificate based, like nurse or I couldn't get any job like that. So what I have is I look for, so it was really a confusing moment for me. Like it's like coming back down to when I decided that I want to be this job and I study all the way there. Now I couldn't go back there. I need to find another passions, like another job. But I really couldn't find anything. So
So those
I
first
goes
60
from
days were
security
like,
guards. Yeah. So at that moment, a lot of people give me different like in that 60 days. I found my job in 3 weeks, but that is it feels in the first and 2 weeks feels like 60 days because I submitted all my resume and no one actually replied. Yeah. So I submitted to maybe security. There is a Atos here, which is very popular job for Malaysians because their salary is very lucrative, but high long working hours. And then I submitted for some kindergarten teacher, uh,
oh,
yeah, a salesperson in different industry, and the only two that answer me is really retail. Yeah, both retail
okay.
related. Yeah, so I'm not really someone who is into fashions. In fact, yeah, I didn't know I mean, I am from KL, but I didn't know a lot about fashion brands or whole luxuries brand. But those are the options that I have, and I go with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good as well because like you have 60 days. It's like a deadline, and then you just do whatever it takes to get a
Yeah,
job
it's
within the 60
urgency.
days. Yeah,
So but you can also actually just go out and then get a
come
job
back.
and come back in to get another 60 days review.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But it does give an urgency for you to look for jobs because if you are staying in Singapore on your own, let's say because I have a family to here to support me to feed me while looking
Mm-hmm.
for jobs, but I pay back them afterwards. But if you don't, you come here, the rent and the food will be killing you unless you have a huge Malaysia like ringgit savings because
Yeah.
the currency you are not working in Singapore yet, so all the currency coming here will be so pain for you. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that happens to a lot of my friends who in the beginning they really just like live as low as they can, eat Maggies and then sleep in those budget hotel, which is very cheap when they until they secure a job.
So are you still in retail now?
Oh yes, I'm still in retail.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Right.
So
So
it's one of the sector that's hurt the most right now since there is
yeah.
no shopping mall opening. So
So
I for
how's
the
that going
past
for
three
you?
months
Yeah.
uh I'm quite lucky since that I have my contract renewed in the early April. So in that moment right now, I think my job security is quite okay. But of course, it doesn't go wrong since that my company has actually wiped off all the benefits they can actually give, which is understandable because their business is hurt very badly. So
Hmm.
I've also seen many friends, my colleague who actually left the company, especially foreigners from Philippines and China. They really just pack up and go back, not just for my brand, but for any other brands as well. So yeah, they are still struggling to pay. I mean, that's what a lot of people want to know. Like, do we still get paid while we stay at home? Because it's a job that we couldn't work from home.
Hmm.
But yeah, my company still struggle, but they managed to pay us for the past 2 months. Yeah, for this
And
month is still pending.
oh, there's nothing you
Yeah,
could. There's no way to work from home in your job.
yeah. There's no way to work from home since our job is to serve people in the shopping mall. So shopping mall is not open. But
No
but
customer
but the
support, no
company
online.
does. Yeah, but the no online. But the customer just I mean, but our HR just arrange a very good, very comprehensive online learnings for us.
That's good. That's
Yeah, so
good.
we stay at home and learn to improve ourselves, to upskill ourselves, especially on customer service side, which so that when we go back there, we are actually a bit upgraded than we used to be. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that we don't have time to do, so we do it right now. That's for my company side, and for my personal side, of course, I will use all this time to do content creation and also upgrade myself from different aspect as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the pandemic is bad when you think that it hurts you financially, but it actually gives you all the time that you want. That hey, I wish to do this when I have the time. So you
Mm.
have all the time right now. What you gonna do? Unless what you want to do is travel, then
Yeah.
unfortunately that's not the way. But yeah, there are a lot more things that we can do. Like you can really start a business. In fact, I actually started another small business with my friend. in this pandemic. Yeah.
Oh, well,
So
what
there's so
business is
much
it?
more thing. Yeah, I'm into drop shipping.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, what I think is that like when I was a few past weeks ago, a friend from my old school just approached me saying that he doesn't have his scholarship, so he's struggle financially. So he said, is there any way that I can work? I mean, work with me. I mean, I said, oh, why don't we just open a business? So I just tell him what I have done. The same thing I did. I just asked him and just guide him to open up a business, and yeah, he's doing quite well right now. I mean, for him, his expenses is not that much, so that income of 3 figures per month is enough for him as of now. Yeah, but at good mean it's a bad time, but at good time, I mean, I'm not really 100% successful drop shipping yet, but at good times I earn up to 4 figures per month. Yeah,
it's awesome. And I think
yeah,
like your company is really, really great. Like a retail company that is still keeping its staff during a time like this. I think that's
yeah.
pretty
It's
good.
difficult for all the companies to do so. Yeah, but I think Singapore. Yeah, if when we talk about the company, right, we have to mention the Singapore government as well. Their support system is really comprehensive. Yeah, and it really cares about the employees, not just the Singaporean and also the foreigners. Like if you know that incident is that Malaysia suddenly announced lockdown in the at night, evening, but there was zero information about if Malaysians still get to travel between, because there are Malaysians who stay in Singapore like me, and there are Malaysians who commute daily to go to the job.
Yeah.
So there was zero news. No one know about it until the next day. I mean, they are going to close down. We have literally 24 hours to decide. And there was no news. The phone cannot get called in. And finally, when the news goes up, Singapore government did a very comprehensive support system. Like they inform all their companies to what they do, and every single company they do as the same thing as well. They contact all the staff and tell them the option. If you are to stay in Singapore, what will you get to pay? You get the pay, and if you go back, you'll get to. I mean, they list out all the options clearly for us. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
when there are cases like people who are actually homeless because some of them don't have any place to stay. Like all the accommodations are arranged by the companies or the government. So for those who are really homeless, they have to stay in the Kranji because they cannot afford the Grab from the Kranji station, which is where the people who commute, right, the station. So they actually sleep in the MRT. But just within days, government actually arrange all the accommodation for them.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people say that Singapore is small, so which is why it's easy to manage. But I would really challenge all Malaysia governments people to really just look at the system and learn how they do. Like if you think back how Malaysia locked down, the sequence is really because it's something that we don't expect, and they are just days after a political drama.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
understandable. Yeah,
it's
so
just a mess.
what makes me happy is that the MCO is really well done afterwards, and yeah, it's getting better. I mean, sitting here, I'm still worried about my family over there, but I see, yeah, it's quite good. I mean, the condition is very, it's an outbreak, so we couldn't control anything, but the government did what they have. Yeah.
You still have family in Singapore living there?
Yeah. I still have my two of my siblings have already become Singaporeans here. They have come here to work even earlier than me.
Oh, okay. So it's like kind of runs in the family.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who actually come to Singapore. Yeah.
That's cool.
In fact, I mean, working in Singapore, a lot of people think that because of the currency, you'll get to earn more. But I don't think that's the case, and that's not why I aim as well. Because when you earn more, naturally you spend more. Like there's this question that I asked, like if really people who work in Singapore, Malaysia who work in Singapore will get rich, right? Why there are so many people why there are so many Malaysians that work here, but not many that really get rich? And at those mind of thinking, because I have lost a career, so I wanted something and I aim for financial freedom. So I asked myself, like, how do I achieve financial freedom when I work in Malaysia? And why didn't they achieve it? Yeah. So most of them, because they don't know, they don't know what is financial freedom. They don't think that's the way. But there are a few friends, a few relative who is older than me, who is what they did back then actually inspired me a little. So what they did is when the currency just 1 to 2, they came here to work as well. They work here and they keep it low profile, and they learn the business model here. And what they do is, with the currency arbitrage, it's only 1 to 2, but it's still a lot. They work and they save as much as possible. So when they have enough money, they go back to Malaysia and open up a business. So those are the things that comes into my mind, and I think that could be something that I do. What I want to do is really just want to make another living, but not just to just work my entire life.
Yeah. So if someone were to look at, okay, should I work in KL or should I work in Singapore? Would you say that, after earning the wages, after you count all the currency stuff, since you have to also pay your rent in Singapore dollars, your food in SGD, transport, would you actually earn more money if you work in Singapore than in KL after you pay your rent and all that stuff?
It really depends on how you're gonna choose your lifestyle to be. So I've heard a lot of friends who working in KL, they are actually struggling with the rent and the living over there as well, because their earnings as an entry job isn't that much, but the rents are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
The living expenses is getting more expensive. And we are all in the 20s. We don't spend our Friday nights just at home. So most of us, you go to Zouk, all those things. It's young and we all know that. So the expenses is the same. It's your choice. So if you live in KL and you do those choice, it's still hard for you to save any money. So if I am in Singapore and I did that choices, in fact, I actually did it for a month to really just give myself, what does it feel like, and do I really want it? So, but if you ask me right now, I'm able to save up to 1,000 to 2,000 sometimes Sing dollar per month. So it will be 1,000, it will be 3,000 to 6,000 ringgit in ringgit, which I can do it. I can just save it and invest it. So to me, it's a lot for me, but there are a lot of people who really don't save anything. Like when I talk to my colleague, hey, how you gonna save any money? So they say, oh no, the iPhone is coming out next month. So it's really depend on your choice. I believe if I'm to go back to KL and work, I believe I'll be able to save the same amount of money as well. Because how much money you save actually depend on how much you make and how less you spend. Yeah. So most of us are focused on how less we spend. That's how we started out actually. So we spend less so that we can save more. But at one point, I believe, I actually wrote an article about this. At one point, our obligation is gonna go up. So this is what I realized, so why so many Malaysians who work here in the beginning, they get so much money, but at the end, they don't really save so much and really achieve financial freedom. Because as you grow up, the time pass by, you meet someone you love, you get a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend becomes your spouse, your wife, and you get children, and your expenses keep going up while your income might not be increasing. So yeah, you can try as much. I'm willing to starve myself, but no one will ever be willing to starve their wife and their children. Don't try to starve your girlfriend, you'll die. Yeah. So that's so I just realized, this is the reason. Like if you are working in KL, you're gonna find ways to really improve your income if the rent is a lot. So yeah, it's really your choice. Your choice to lessen your expenses and also your choice to improve your income.
Yeah, and I think in Singapore as well, like we talk about the rent being expensive in KL. Like if you get a cheap place in KL, then the conditions are really bad and you're really far away from where you have to work probably. And the public transport is not so good. But in Singapore, I'm assuming you can get a place, a cheap place that is relatively okay, and you still have the MRT, you still have public transport to get to your work.
Yeah, that's true. That's the biggest advantage. Like if you are in KL, try and live in KL without a car or without a motor. So you couldn't do it at all because not everywhere is accessible. So but in Singapore, really, I mean, I don't own a car. I never drive a car yet in here, but I do have a driving license. But you can really go to anywhere, even like far side, like we have a north side, east side here, right? You can go to
Like
the
you
other
can live
side
in
of
like
Singapore.
Jurong East and you can still work in like the city
Yeah,
center. Yeah.
yeah. But still, you have to look at the time and cost efficiency. Yeah.
Mm.
In fact, right now I'm living in the north side, but my company has arranged me to work in the east side. So it took me a 1 hour commute, but it's still a direct bus. I can just relax, sit in my bus and read my books and create my content along the way while I go there to work. So the
You can never do
convenience
that
in
in
working in
KL.
Singapore is, yeah, you can't do that in KL.
Yeah,
So,
I had a friend that he lived in Johor, but then he would commute to Singapore to work as a waiter, and all in his travel time, his work time, he would spend about 15, 16 hours a day, all in work and travel, and thought that was crazy, just to earn that like Singapore dollars. But yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
it was really crazy. But the problem that I think is like what makes them want to do so. So I actually look around and see like people who come to Singapore and work. There are a few reasons. So like my reasons is a bit different because I will have circumstances that happened to me and I couldn't really. I mean, this is one of the best options that I can go for, so I go for it. And but there are people who come here because they like the Sing dollar, and when you realize that one Sing dollar is equal to one Australian dollar, you realize there are so many places you can travel to. So I have met one of the biggest reason for Malaysian to work in Singapore that I realized is they like to travel. So imagine you working 1 month, you save 1,000 Sing dollar, you can travel in Australia for about maybe for a week like that. But how long do you need to work in Malaysia to afford a travel? That's one reason. So another reason is that a lot of people they have mouths to feed. So people who have families in Singapore, I mean, has family in Malaysia, and maybe they are not working or that they couldn't really support themselves. So he came here and worked in Singapore and sent all the money back there. So I think your friends maybe one of the people who commute, right? This is one of the one of the most common reason for them. So they have their homes in Malaysia, in Johor, and they just commute every single day. It's crazy. Like even me as a retail, we work shift. There is a shift at 7 a.m. in the morning. My friends still stay in Johor and come over to Singapore to work. So we have to wake up like 3 a.m. in the morning and then go reach custom by 4 a.m. and all the way. Yeah, it's a big
crazy.
sacrifice. Yeah. I don't mind that sacrifice. I choose to stay in Singapore because I realized I couldn't take that. I don't think that time efficient is good for me because I can use all the time that I have in Singapore to do a lot of other things.
Exactly.
So
If you use your time, if you invest that time, then you can get a lot more back.
Yeah. So, but the problem is, when they do so, they do all the sacrifice. Like they have a family over there, so it's hard for them to just leave it. But how long do they need to sacrifice? So that's the question that I ask myself. How long do I need to sacrifice and how long do I need to work here? So like you need to know that you are working for something and not like have nothing in the bank. Yeah, this is my life. I just gonna travel every single day and just live it like that. So which is why I started to find other ways of making money, like side hustles, and then ultimately go to investing. Yeah.
So you're talking about some skills that you had, but you didn't have your certificate because you didn't finish uni. So what are some skills that you think young people would greatly benefit from if they didn't finish uni, or if they did finish uni, but these skills are the skills that would get them a really good job?
Yeah, I mean, what you mean is those skills that the school basically don't teach, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. First would be communications.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at all the job vacancy, right, there's one big qualifications. If you are able to speak in English. I mean, there are still a lot of Malaysians over there, like they might have a less access to educations, so they don't learn English. In fact, my English I learned quite late when I was in secondary school because my family don't speak English, and I don't learn English well. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was in secondary school, I met a lot of Indian friends who teach me how to speak English, and yeah, and that way I just get it through. So small advice to everyone, students, really just like learn how to speak English, how to speak well English. Like that will really give you a lot of advantage when you find jobs in either Malaysia or Singapore or anywhere.
Mm.
Yeah. So if other things that you can teach is really resilience lah.
Mm.
I mean, it's a character of people. Like what I said, the circumstances that I cannot control happen to me. So how are you gonna understand? How are you gonna step back up again? So this is something the school doesn't teach. The school teach you how to this, how to that. They never tell you. They always tell you that you must pass your exam no matter what. But they will never tell you what you're gonna do, what you can do, what option you still have when you fail. It makes you feel like your entire life is stacked on this certificate, and if I don't get it, I'm doomed for life. So that was my thought. So, but I mean, 2 years after that event, I realized that I have that certificate would be one advantage to me. And if I don't have it, I can still do a lot of other things because the education doesn't stop. Education doesn't stop with your school. Yeah. So that's the second thing that I want to say: resilience, your character, to always know that you can step back out whatever big failures you're gonna face. Yeah. Like me, I have hit one rock bottom of my life. Who knows, I'm gonna have another. But I don't mind again. I don't mind anymore because I know no matter what hit me again, I can always stand back out on my feet. Yeah. So the third thing is what I just mentioned is understanding that your education doesn't end with school. And there are so many skills, but the first skills to get access to all other skills that is gonna be beneficial for you to find a job or to do anything in your life is self-education. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, self-education, just educate myself, isn't that hard? But it's really hard because just ask people, try and pick up a book to learn about it. Like, you know, a lot of people will say, hey, I want to start a business. What should I do? They turn to their families and their friends and ask, hey, what should I start? How should I start a business? How should I this? How should I that? But when they turn to those people, most of the time, those people are people who never started a business themselves. So they just say, you crazy lah, walao eh. This time what already, you still want to start a business? And they just say, oh, shit, I don't have any support. I just give up on my dream. But if you know self-education is possible, like right now with internet, all the resources there are so many resources available for you. You go to library and pick up a book, or you talk to someone who is doing what you do on the internet in your Instagram. So if you learn how to self-educate yourself, and if you learn how to convert all your social medias, utilize all your resources to learn to self-educate yourself, I believe if you know that skill, you can do anything in your life to make things happen. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. It's crazy like how schools don't really teach you how to learn. Like if you think of it, they only teach you how to read until like you're, I don't know, 7, 8, or maybe earlier than that. But I follow Jim Quick, and he teaches you like he says this like, you know, we are reading the same way that we read when we were 7, but we're reading more complicated stuff. So yeah, our learning level and our learning ability has never really increased since we were like primary school, and that's just crazy. It's crazy when you think about how learning is so, it's like meta skill, you know. If you have that, then you can get everything else.
Yeah, it makes us feel like we learn because we want to complete our exam. So once we finish sitting for our exam, we just feel, oh, learning is now ended. Like that's all. But learning and education, like knowledge is power. But to be honest, knowledge is only potential power. So if you don't use it correctly in the right way, on the right thing to make things happen, right? It's just a potential power that you can use. Knowledge only become power when you utilize them, when you apply them in the things that you do. Yeah. So you realize that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of knowledge that we learn in school, like maybe geography, history might not be as useful as they thought it is because we don't apply it in our life. In fact, in life, there are so many other things that we need to have the knowledge, but we don't know. So personal finance is one of the biggest thing that school doesn't teach. Yeah, it's one of the best example. If you ask me, what's the most prominent things that the school doesn't teach, but it's very, very, very important in the life, personal finance. How to manage your money. Yeah. The school teach you how to make money? Yes. They teach you how to go work hard, study hard, get a job. Then you can make a money. But they never teach you how to manage money.
Actually,
Maybe there's
they don't teach you how to work hard. They just tell you pass this exam so that you can get that job, and then you'll figure it out. Or maybe your employer will be nice to you and actually pay you until
yeah. Like in fact, I have read another book recently that they said that this education system is actually, our current education system is based on one system back in the ancient time that used to train soldiers who obey commands.
Yeah. And
So
the
that's how we
basically
do.
factory
Like we
workers.
feel like, yeah. So
that's why we have a bell.
We are given the like what you say right just now as a 22 years old student. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this along the way, and once I hit something, I'm gonna have my life figured out. Yeah. That is actually, that's why a lot of people in the 20s will get lost.
Yeah.
Because when they are in the school, they have a specific goal, like to sit for exam, and they have a specific deadline, when is the exam gonna be, and they have the specific things to do, their syllabus in the exam that's gonna be tested. But once you step out from the university, you step out into a school, right? Oh yeah, in the beginning maybe you can get a job. Okay, now I'm gonna get a job, and then but there are so many other things like, oh, should I get a house? Should I get a car? And that's how we get lost most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't have the definite goal anymore. Like the entire no one's gonna tell us what we're gonna do anymore. Even though the school says that they want to teach us to be independent, but I don't think they achieve it in the way, because so many people in the 20s are lost, and even in the 30s they are still lost.
Do you think that's why, like right now, everyone's on lockdown and everyone's staying at home? And well, I'm making an assumption here, but most people don't know what to do with that free time, because they've always been taught to, this is what you need to do. This is the structure, learn this, answer the questions, instead of taking responsibility. Like, what is best for you? How do you think? How do you choose what to learn? And how do you choose to spend your time? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Totally agree with you. Like that system kills so many creativity in our young generations. Like there are people, I mean, now the young generation, some of them might be thinking, I want to be a YouTuber. So people like us, like all-minded will say, no, this is crazy. You cannot do like that. I mean, back in my age, I want to start a business. I want to, no, you just focus on study. Your life will be okay like that already. So it kills a lot of creativity and dreams. Like sometimes what you want to do has nothing to do with what you want to study. You know, like if you want to start a business, right? Let's say you want to start a clothing business. What subject can you think that can help you to achieve that? And you feel like, oh, what I study. And then when you finish the exam, let's say you choose a accounting degree. And once you finish the accounting degree, oh, I should do accounting right now because I have finished my accounting. And it just limit our dreams and cripple our wings totally. Like say right now, when you are in quarantine, like you say, they are really lost. But because their mind has been set in such a way that, oh, I really have to just do what I do, and suddenly now I have all this time and I don't know what to do. But it also gives the freedom for you to really look inwards in this pandemic to ask yourself, what is it that I really want to do? Yeah. To ask yourself to know your why. Like, it's difficult because Toast life, like Toast, when you get a job, most of the time Toast job really gives you a good and comfortable paycheck. Yeah, you'll be feel that, oh yeah, I get the good money, and then I get to spend on the things that I want, and the life goes on. It's actually this is what I learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, the rat race. So when you get promotions, and maybe you'll get a better job options, better paycheck, and unconsciously you start spend more on good things. You think that when you have the power to spend more things, to buy more things, your life standard actually improve, and you just go on and on and on with that cycle. So that's what we call as rat race. Yeah.
And I think that's super risky too. Like, you know, when you say like, oh, I want to start a business, and people tell you, oh, it's too risky, I want to invest, so risky, but people don't think about the amount of risk you take if you just put your life into your employer's hand and just hope that they will keep you for, I don't know, 10, 20 years. And things are not like that anymore. And it's just super risky people don't think about that kind of
Now
risk.
it's the great time for us to know that job security is never secure. I mean, like in old time, we thought that job security and pension funds is what we have to back up from. But look at it right now, like you can really understand that your job security is not secure at all. So you look at yourself and you ask, like let's say you stop working and your employer stop paying you. Where is that job security? Your income just stop when you stop working, when you stop trading your time with your employee and with your employer. So to really understand this and know that, like, why we take more risks, like people who say business and investment is risky, because like just understand why they take more risks is because they realize job security is never secure. It's really trading your time with your employer, and once you stop working, they'll stop paying you. But if you take more time, more risk, I mean, if you manage your risk well, investment is not at risk at all. Start business is also the same thing. Post business and post investment, right? Even if you stop working, let's say we stop working right now in the pandemic, but if I have a good portfolio, you still get paid no matter what. Yeah, even if I stop working right now. And financial freedom is that you have such a good, we call it pipeline, that flows all the income for you, the passive income, and you can choose to work for whatever you want instead of just tied to your employer and say, the employer can pay you a lot of money, but remember this, once you stop working, are they still paying you?
So how do you organize your money and your finances? Like you said, you were able to save about $1,000 a month. Like what do you cut back on, or what do you focus on when you spend?
I first is the very simple way, your needs and your wants. So in the beginning of my journey to do budgeting, I really see, like, because I eat a lot, like I have a huge appetite and I really get hungry very easily. So huge money will be spent off in the foods there. So what I do is there's this cycle of budgeting. Is first, when you move to a new places or when you're just starting up budgeting, right? You just record down every single cents that you spend. Where do you spend it on? And then once you finish it, maybe for a month or for a week, right? You analyze, is this money spent to its full value? Yeah. So budgeting is never about cheapskate. It's about make sure your every single dollar, every single cent is spent wisely.
Yeah, it's more about being aware.
Yeah, and look for alternatives. Like maybe you just walk down a few more steps, and you realize it is another stores, hawker center that actually offers cheaper food with bigger portions. Yeah, so I always look for cheaper alternative. Yeah, so I spend lots of money on actually I will pay myself first. I automate all my savings and investment. So every single time the paycheck come in, there will be a huge pot. Maybe half of it will straight away go into my savings. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then only then I pay my rent. Only then I pay for my food all the way, and put a few portions that for the rest of the month. So that's how I manage my money. I automate all my savings and also my investing.
That's cool.
And it's much easier for us to automate autos right now. That is the key. If you don't automate yourself, if you tell yourself, never mind lah, the end of the month I'll just save a little bit. That strategy will never work, because the temptation is so huge. Like you suddenly, the entire world, the entire consumer world, you just look at yourself and ask, like, whenever you search for a thing, let's say you search for a new sneaker, and then when you screw your phone, right, you realize all those ads you just pop up. Promotions here, promotions there. I mean, as someone who is already into the business sector, and I understand, this is how we attract people. But as a consumer, it's very easy that you get into the trap and you just spend the money.
Yeah, it's so like you versus mega corporations who pour in tons of research and employ people that are specifically skilled, professionally skilled to get your money into their pockets.
Yeah, that's right. And when you know that, I need to stop to be just a consumer, I can be with them, alongside with them, and earn the money of people who always like to spend money. Then that's how investing really is. Investing is not about putting your money out and you can earn so much money in return. It's really just you realize there is a way you can get alongside with those people who market to get people money. You can be alongside with iPhone to earn the money of people who buy iPhones. You can be alongside with maybe Nike to earn the money of people who buy all the Nike shoes. Yeah, that's investing.
Yeah, sure. So
it's hard for you to
Yep, you were saying?
So it's hard for you to manage your money if you really just think as a consumer. Like you think that I need to spend less here, spend less there, but when you realize there's so much more power of your money, you can use your money not just to spend things on yourself, but to spend it on someone else and then earn the right to be alongside with them to get the money of someone else. That's the power of money making money.
Yeah, really shifting that mindset from what you can
Consumer.
buy with your money to what you can earn with
what
your
you can
money.
make with your money. Yeah, that's right.
So when you were growing up, what were you taught about money?
When I'm growing up.
Yeah. So when you were growing up at home, like what did your parents teach you about money? Yeah.
Wow. When I'm growing up, I really think that money is something that can brings you happiness and brings you fame and brings you all those good things. Because when I was I didn't come from a high earning family. My mom and dad actually divorced when I was in young age. So I grew up in a single parent family. So what happened is that sometimes I'll visit people with big houses and nice cars, and wow, you guys are rich, and this is what I can do when I have a lot of money. Yeah, those concept changed when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. This the favorite quote from the book, right? Is nice cars and big houses doesn't mean you are rich. Yeah. Then I realized what are this quote about? I go and read more and go and Google more and realize mortgage. So yeah, it's those nice house and big cars are actually loans that you money that you loan from the bank, and those are not your asset. So it changed my thinking about money. When I am growing up, I really think that money is everything, but as I grew up, I realized money is just a tool.
Yeah, it's true. So, I mean, it sounds like you're a very big fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And I was going to ask you, like, at what point in your life did you sort of wake up or become aware that personal finance is something you need to learn about? So I'm assuming that one of it was by reading Kiyosaki's book.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
At which point, what prompted you to read the book? Like, at which point
I think I bought the book when I was in university, but I never read it. I just leave it there.
Okay.
So what happened is when I came to Singapore, when I was really, really down, I mean, I haven't recovered from the emotional impact from dropping out of school. So with all those time that I always worry about, am I gonna get a job, am I doing for my life? So I found a solution is that I pick up a book and read. So at that moment, I pick up the book is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't read the book at the early stage of my life. I know that there is something that I need to do about money and I'm doing it, but to fully read the Rich Dad Poor Dad is really afterwards. So yeah, at that point I realized, there is this thing about personal finance, and if I do it well, even if I lost my career I'm dropped out from university, I can still become financial freedom. Financial freedom is a bit confusing for a lot of people because they think that if you want to be financial free, you need to be like Jack Ma, or you need to be like Robert Kwok, who suddenly found something, who suddenly invent something and become so rich at one point. So financial freedom really tell you that wealth is not rich. Yeah, wealth is freedom. It's about how much you earn more than is exceeding how much you spend. So both is actually in your control. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will dream to be like Jack Ma. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I hope, I want to be rich. Let's hope I suddenly invent Facebook or I become the next Microsoft." You don't have to be like that. If you are a bus driver earning the minimum wage, I believe you can still achieve financial freedom. and personal finance, planning your money and managing them well is the way. Yeah, that's what I get from Rich Dad Poor Dad.
It reminds me of how I started as well. For me, I was in my first semester uni, and I got my PTPTN loan, one bulk, and I just spent it. And I remember quite clearly, like I was struggling because I had a few months left, so I had to like call my dad, I had to like borrow some money, and then that was the point I realized, like, oh shit, I really have to figure this out. So for me, the book was Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. And
Dave Ramsey, yeah. He's the king right now.
Yeah. So
yeah, at least you find out.
Yeah, I would just watch YouTube videos first, and then stumbled upon Audible, and then got the free book from Audible. It was Dave Ramsey, and then after that was Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Robert Kiyosaki, and then everything changed.
Yeah, but like you say, when you realize, it's the reason why I started my page is really like we realize a lot of people who are living just like you and me in the back. Like you said, you have a few months left to pay, and then but once they finish, they manage to pay that, like, paycheck to paycheck. And they're like, oh, it's okay. I can still live it this way. I just get my money in and I pay for what I want. I just live as I want and just go all the way like that. But a lot of people don't realize is that you are still young. You can say like that. You are 20 years old. You are strong. You are ambitious. You can do whatever you want. But you will grow older and older and older. Maybe you are in a skill job and you feel tired doing your job, you feel demotivated. If you are working like a labor job, you cannot carry as heavier things that is so heavy anymore. So at those time, your earning power will be going down. What's gonna support you? If you still want to spend as much as you want, but you cannot earn as much as you can, so how you gonna do it? Like, this is what happened when I always, in Kopitiam or in Malaysia, maybe you see people who are already old, who are at old age. This is a very common since in Singapore. Like in the hawker center, you'll see auntie, uncles.
I see that a lot in
60,
Singapore.
70. Yeah, they are serving people. When I look at them and I ask myself, maybe there are people who are actually retired, they just enjoy serving people. But let's hope that is the case. But let's be honest. We ask ourselves, do you want to be like that when we are old? Do we still want to do things that we don't want to do when we are old because we are tied to money? Yeah. So we need to understand that money can only you can't do anything in the life without money. Money isn't everything, but you cannot do anything without money. But you need to understand too, money is a great servant, but a bad master. Yeah. So you can master the money and makes it work for you instead. Yeah. You can, but we all need to learn. Yeah, which is why I'm into first personal finance and then investing and then on and on and on and on. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know this. They think that paycheck can just last forever. How long can they last?
And that's the thing. I think it's because they never, like you said, like your whole page is about rock bottom. They never feel that pain or that point of rock bottom because it's always okay. So they never really like, okay, shit, So you have to feel that pain. You have to be in that adverse situation. And I know you like reading about stoicism as well. And I'm so glad that I experienced that pain early on, because if I didn't, I would just be just okay, just over, just not broke. And one day when that time comes, then I'll be too old already. So I'm so glad that I experienced that pain really young.
Yeah, you have your wake up call early, but don't worry. Pandemic is the wake up call for a lot of people right now. Yeah. Like you and me, we had a pain and we had a wake up call. So we step out from our comfort zone. We realize this is not the way I can be, even though I'm comfortable there. And we step out from the comfort zone courageously, like just imagine Tony Robbins telling you gotta step out from your comfort zone, or Gary Vee, all those motivational way. And you step out from the comfort zone and learn about personal finance and invest. But this time it's not the way. Because why? In this moment, at this pandemic, we must understand our comfort zone is shrinking right now. You can still choose not to step out, but it's shrinking. Why? Comfort zone is all about job security. It's all about maybe your pension fund, or maybe your mother as your parents as your emergency fund, or your children as your retirement fund. Look at all these. I mean, this is just the examples, and look at them. Job security. Your boss can fire you anytime because they cannot sustain on themselves anymore. Pension fund. I mean, in recession time, pension fund can just be gone. Look at, like, US printing money, and Malaysia is the first time that our EPF get lower dividend for the first time ever, and it can still get lower because the market isn't performing well. And look at what did I say? Your parents as your retirement fund, as your emergency fund. Your parents might not be working right now in their business. If they have a great business running, their business might be impacted as well. Your children as retirement fund, which is a huge problem that made so many savage generation in this world. I mean, they have their student loan on their ass, and they might not have a good job to support themselves, and they might want to start their own family. So look at all this comfort zone is shrinking already, and if you don't have any, you're still waiting for that wake up call to maybe a big car hit you and this and that, right? You're gonna die in the comfort zone because it's shrinking. Is shrinking like that. You're gonna run. You're gonna step out from the comfort zone. It's no longer like those motivational talks that just step out and all the shine lights on you. No, you need to step out. You need to grow. If you don't grow right now, this pandemic, you're gonna die.
It's either you do it or it happens to you, and hopefully cross your fingers that when it happens to you, it's not too terrible. Yeah, and it's not like crippling.
Yeah, pandemic is really the wake up call to a lot of people. That I really hope that we can sit down with so much time, so much energy, sit down, look inwards, and look around, and know what's really going on.
It seems like that's where we're going. Like there's a lot of reports where young people are saving a lot more now. They're looking up personal finance a lot more. So that's good.
Yeah, that's hope. That's good. That's good. But not the way that they, because there's another saying that because the Toto is not opening anymore, so they usually just Bursa Malaysia has to become the next place to gamble. Yeah, who knows? Genting is not open as well, so they go up and just gamble there. Yeah. Right. So it's really like investing for me is never to make big money. From my own point of view, it's about making money and growing money. So I make money. I don't choose investing and trading to make money because I don't have the skill set to trade to do tradings, and I more to passive investing right now. And so to me, investing is really for you to grow money. Like when you put your money in the bank, it's still growing up. It's still working for you. But to make money, I'll do other things like drop shipping, e-commerce, or maybe marketing, all those other things. So for me, I differentiate it like that. Because a lot of people come into investing thinking that, I'm gonna make 20% and per annum. But they don't know the people who say 20% per annum, how much effort, how much time they have been putting in. Like I just talked to a friend who is a great trader, who making huge profit. He spent 4 years learning the skills and all those losses. So a lot of people go into the investing and they say, I got burned by the stock market. They didn't get burned by the stock market. They get burned by themselves because they don't understand what investing and trading is yet before they go in. They have the wrong concept.
It's a saying that's like, it's not the stock market that's risky. It's you're the one that's risky. Because you're going in with,
and it's difficult. It's difficult. In the beginning, it's difficult for me as well, even though I'm maybe 1 year into investing. I still choose to be more passive. You need to know yourself. Like, are you able to see your portfolio suddenly dip into red color? Like in early March, that was the first time I ever see my portfolio down 30%.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm planning to make my target is at least 7% per year, and it goes down to 30%. All the money that you earn, imagine this, all the money they earn suddenly just gone. And what do a lot of people do? Because they go in listening to other people and not having the same principle, they'll be blaming other people, or they'll be withdrawing all their money straight away, and they just stop. They feel like, oh my god, this is scary. I don't want to have this and do this anymore, and they don't invest anymore. So a lot of people jump in very quickly. It's a good thing. We see a lot of people having the mindset good, like investing is important, but they might not think that they might not know what investing really is.
Yeah.
And there was this is another quote that I came across with a friend, a follower on Instagram. So I say, you don't throw the whole nasi lemak away because the sambal is too pedas. Because the sambal is too spicy. You tasted the sambal a little bit and you feel that it's too spicy for you, and you realize you decide don't not eat nasi lemak anymore.
Yeah.
But instead, know your spiciness, know how much sambal you can take, and just really manage all the materials in your nasi lemak, which is managing all the asset classes in your portfolio. I mean, it's a metaphor. I hope a lot of people get it.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So
because
yeah,
because
you
really
go.
investing is long term, and you don't because of one crash and you just stop investing like that. If you understand it, you know that it's a long term business, and you don't make if you're lucky you make short term money, but you need to understand it's a long term commitment.
Yeah.
And it's not entirely passive as well. You're gonna put the work in.
Yeah. So for me, like I just started dipping my toes in investing in March. I really new, and I don't even really consider myself an investor yet. But my goal with putting money into stocks and investing is not to make money. If I make money, that's good. But it's more to learn and to get that experience first, and to learn more about myself when it comes to investing. So if I lose money, that's okay, because I get the lessons from it. I get the lessons of, this is not what I'm supposed to do.
The best way to learn is always by starting.
Yeah.
Anything in your life. Like let's say you want, when I encourage my friends, people around me to go learn investing, or also learn how to do side hustles, right? It's not just, like you say, not just the money that you can make. Those are potential money. Those are things that you won't see in short term, like profit. So if you focus on the money that you can make when you learn all these things, when you start and do all these things into investing or into side hustle, you're going to give up really quickly.
Yeah.
People think that, in 1 month or two, I'm going to be rich, this and that. But it doesn't. But if you focus on the process and all the things that you can learn along the way, like investing, you can know yourself more, know your appetite, risk appetite, know what is trading, what is investing, or just the experience of the roller coaster experience. You realize that, I'm learning, and you continue to do so because you get better along the way. And just like side hustle, you start a side hustle in the beginning, you might not get any money, but you can learn all about content creations, social media marketing, and you finally understand that, I can use money to make money, and I can actually get behind those advertising screen and look at the people who consumes and look, this is how the money is actually made. Yeah, those are the things that you should focus on when you do anything in your life.
And those are the skills that you keep that will make you money forever.
Yep. Like there's another guy he had a webinar. He said this thing. He claimed he had made 30% every single year, and I believe he had because he shared quite transparent on his page. And what he said in his webinar is this: what makes me rich is the skill set I have. If today my portfolio and everything that I have is to be taken away from me, I can start from scratch again.
Yeah. That's what we call financial confidence. So you know that if you lose everything, you can get it back because you have the skills and you know how it works.
Yeah, hard work.
So something that I think a lot of our viewers like to hear, a question that we always ask is, what is something that you bought recently that is less than $100 that has impacted you the most in your life in the last 6 months?
Last 6 months. I think for the last 6 months, most of the things that I buy is for my girlfriend. So for myself, let me just look around. Well, I did buy books. I buy a lot of books when there's a Big Bad Wolf in KL. I actually call my relative to buy it for me. It's definitely less than $100, 100 ringgit, and I get a lot of books. So yeah, books, investment in yourself always. Yeah.
List of your favorite books about personal finance?
I would say you should, if you are a beginner, you start with Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are, but the books that are going to influence me, there are a lot of books that influence me. So, I mean, Intelligent Investor. Yeah. It's a difficult book to understand, but there are a lot of wisdom inside it. And there's another book that I like is Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
It's not really entirely personal finance, but it's, and because of the word rich, and because most of the content inside the book is talking about how you make money, how you accumulate wealth in your life. But to me, the principles inside the book, right, you can use it to make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would recommend you to read the book if you want to make things happen. That book is the one that teach me to really write down things that you want to do, write down your goals, and how you're gonna achieve it. Yeah, it's another book that I would recommend. It's not a personal finance book, but it's maybe a self-help book.
Yeah. Yeah. If you like Napoleon Hill, you should check out his book called Outwitting the Devil. And basically he talks about how our education system is like really bad. And this was in like 1920s, 1930s. And he's already talking about all this stuff.
The scary thing about personal finance or any other books is that, right, those books are created in long time ago. But if you look at the things that they say, it's still happening right now. Look at Rich Dad Poor Dad, all the rat race, people are still doing that, even though it's still long years ago. Like you say, the education system is still stuck in the time like this. So that's what scares us. Like those things are timeless principles that we should learn, and they can really benefit us.
Yeah. So you're 25 now, and about to hit 30 soon. I mean, not like any pressure, right? But where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
I have a 10 years plan down the road. Okay. So yeah, in this 10-year time, I'll focus on building a pipeline, passive income pipeline. So if everything goes as I plan, I'll be able to hit financial independence, financial freedom in 10 years time.
Oh, that's great. And you plan to continue living in Singapore, or?
I don't plan to continue living in Singapore because I came here because of the currency arbitrage. So I'm going to build a pipeline using that advantage and retire back in Malaysia. But of course, since I have a girlfriend, I don't get the full say now. Yeah, I gotta depend on my girlfriend. Yeah, it should, because we won't be living alone forever. So communication is very important. You gotta communicate well with your spouse or your partner and really know what each other want. And just discuss along the way. My girlfriend is, she's very, very supportive. I mean, she doesn't care about personal finance a lot as compared to me, but she always listen to me, and we always exchange ideas.
Yeah, that's great.
It's not good if you keep planning. Like me, I'm someone who always plan. And there's this bad thing about me, that if I plan too much, I feel like, I never take action. And somehow my girlfriend is the opposite. She don't plan. She think that it's right. She just do it. So somehow that make both of us help each other. Yeah, she'll help me to decide things that I should do, but I'm afraid of, and I'll help her to really plan things well so that it doesn't. If it's go wrong, it don't go wrong the entirely.
All right. So Jaiden, one last thing before we wrap up. If you could have a billboard, right, and this billboard is seen by millions of people, what would you want to say to them?
I will say that what I always say to myself in any situation: remember what you can control.
I like that.
The earlier you go and explore and acknowledge what you can control in your life. I mean, this is about stoicism, that the book that I've always been sharing. So if you explore and acknowledge what you can control in your life, like when something bad happened to you, the emotion you feel, ask yourself, do I want to feel this way? Why can't I control to not feeling this way? And if your body get hit by, your body feel ill the next day, ask yourself, is my body really under my control? And then if you get hit by a car or you have any other adversities, ask yourself, I mean, a lot of people ask this, why this happened to me? Why do this happen to me? And then ask all these questions and ask which one you can really answer it. So at one point you realize that, what can I do about it? This is the question you can always answer yourself. So remember what you can control. If I'm going to get hit by a car, you can still control yourself, and not the pain that your body going through, you can't control it, but you can control to just stand back up, no matter how hurt you are. And if there's another rock bottom that come into my life and I just lost everything I have again, I can still control myself and say, if I have done it before, I can do it again. So if there is such a chance for me to just spread this idea, is remember what you can control. The only thing you can control is always yourself, your mindset at the present moment. Not the past, not the future.
I like that. All right. So where can our audience find you online?
So I'm now you can find me actively on Instagram. So just look up RockBottom_Financial Journey.
Yeah, we'll put a little text here, and you have a blog as well.
Yeah, but I'm relaunching my blog, so it'll be available maybe in a few days time.
All right, cool. All right, Jaiden, thank you so much for joining our show. And
thank you, Edley.
All right. So I hope you learned a ton from our conversation with Jaiden. Follow him on Instagram if you want to keep up with his content. He delivers great stuff there. And let us know in the comments, what was your biggest takeaway? We love to share and learn from everyone else. That's it for this episode on the TMF Talk Show. If you found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel if you want to receive content like this every week. But that's it for today. My name is Edley, and I'll see you in the next video.